Good afternoon, sister, judges, teachers, and the students. We shall now commence with the fourth segment for today's English declamation competition. Representing Amartya House, we have Prizul Kashyap of 11 Medical.
Has rightly been said that homeschooling and traditional schooling are as opposite as two sides of a coin. Homeschooling is all about teaching a child in the heart of family given to that child by his creator. Greetings to everyone present here. Today I, Prizul Kashyap of class 11th Medical, representing Amartya Sen House, am here to express my views on the topic, homeschooling better than traditional schooling. The concept of homeschooling, the one-aged education practice, has again regained its popularity in recent times in many countries, including India. Homeschooling is the sign of development in education sector, and educational quality has been better in homeschooling than in traditional schooling. As the child gets more safer, protective, friendly, learning, personal care, and grooming environment. Majority of parents prefer homeschooling for their children because they personally believe that their child will learn better in home, not just in terms of studies, but also in terms of life lessons. That is, ethics, manners, values, obedience, discipline, honesty, and would be more responsible towards their duties. Also, children can get some time to spend with their family members, can get extra time for their other recreational activities, and parents tend to have greater control and responsibility over what their child is learning. When we compare homeschooling with traditional schooling, we see that in traditional schooling, there is more competition, stress, burden, peer pressure, bullying from children, and there are majority of chances of the child falling into bad company. But when we look at homeschooling, we see that it provides a very comfortable environment. The child learns faster and even better. He can talk, walk, act, think the way he wishes without the fear of being judged or criticized and a need to fit in. He can ask his queries without feeling shy and can interact with the teacher more openly and more comfortably. His self-esteem can remain intact and his curriculum can be changed according to his need, pace, and personality. Let us look at some of the examples of some successful personalities who homeschooled themselves. First is Abraham Lincoln, who served as the 16th President of United States of America. He never went to school because his family's financial condition was weak and he had to work constantly to support his family members. He studied from home and managed both his work and his study and became the president of US without receiving any formal education from school. Second is Thomson Alva Edison, who has been described as America's greatest inventor. He was taught reading, learning, and writing by his mother from home. And he later on discovered electricity, mass communication, screen recording, sound recorder, etc. Third is Albert Einstein, a German-born physicist who gave the theories of relativity that are the support pillars of physics. He studied on his own after being expelled from school, and he later on received a Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. There are many more examples of such people who never received any formal education from school, but still became successful in their lives. At the end, I would like to conclude by quoting Albert Einstein that education is only a ladder to gather the fruit from tree of knowledge and not the fruit itself. Thank you.
Now we go on with class 12. Coming up first, we have Jia Julka of 12th Humanities representing Amartya Sen House.
Plea in Supreme Court to remove socialist and secular from the Constitution's preamble. And the master plan chugs quietly along. Hashtag Achhe Din. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, I, Jia Julka of Class 12 Humanities, Representing Amartya Sen House, I am here to put forth my views on the topic, the current situation of secularism and socialism. On 30th July 2020, two advocates, Balram Singh and Karunesh Kumar Shukla ji, thought of doing something jaw-dropping. These two advocates filed a petition regarding two words, that is socialist and secular. These petitioners said that these two words were anti-ethical as well as deleterious to the cultural theme of India. And Indira Gandhi has made a huge mistake by adding them in our preamble. I mean, 6 years in the office, and they've already started messing up with the constitution. Anyways, now we all know secularism in simple words refers as an ideology which allows people to follow any religion or not follow any. In a secular country, no state can legally favor or hate any particular religion. But it is sad to say that the opposite is happening today, where our prime minister of a secular state is inaugurating a religious institution inclined towards a particular religion. This reminds me of Hindutva, that the government is trying to create a Hindu based nation. And removing of the word secular from the preamble is just a way to achieve that goal. The government thinks that the Hindus are in danger, but I must say that the Hindus have already started occupying most of the media space. Where are the Dalits in the space? Where are the Adivasis in the space? Where are the Muslims in the space? We Hindus are already hegemonic, and there's nothing threatening us. Instead, we should share our privileges, our entitlements, our wealth with everyone else because that is what Gandhi, Nehru, and Ambedkar have taught us. Coming to socialism, we know socialism is way more democratic, way more viable, and it believes in the principle of maximum happiness of the maximum people. But again, the act of government these days is against the principles of socialism in the shape of privatization of PSUs, public sector undertakings. PSUs are making headlines nowadays as they are suffering from losses. They are facing disinvestment. They are borrowing money, and some are on the verge of shutting down. Interestingly, the government that is responsible for looking after or running these PSU companies is hell bent on destroying them. The government even justifies disinvestment by saying that most of the PSUs are making losses. I mean, can someone tell them that if our child is weak, we give him Horlicks? We don't sell his organs. So, yeah, along with these points, I believe that the words secular and socialist should not be removed from our Constitution's preamble, as they represent the cultural and religious diversity that our country holds. And being the youth of the country, like if anyone is trying to ruin our preamble, our Constitution, we need to raise our voice. Simply, we just need to stop being bhakts because bhakti in religion is a route to salvation of the soul. But bhakti in politics is a route to dictatorship. And I think nobody wants that. Thank you.
Coming up next, we have Sana Sheikh of 12th Non-Medical representing Ashok House.
This is benevolity for the life that we live, oblivious to the misery of India's people. Aren't these lives enough to persuade us to put a standstill to our opulent lifestyle? Or are these people just to be called sacrificial rams who lost their lives just because we couldn't relent our luxuries? Greetings to the members of jury, respected sister, teachers, and my dear fellow mates. I am Sana Sheikh of Class 12 Non-Medical representing Ashok House, and I'm here to speak on the topic COVID Stay Home versus Get Out. Isn't it enough that the white coats are being turned into suffocating PPEs and the patients losing their life's battle are on the rise each day? Doesn't that suffice for us to put a halt on the things that I would call ostentatious at best? Today I come for to ask if out is really ruining our life. Really want to end in corona wards or worse, death, just because we couldn't resist going out to buy new clothes or for a dinner with friends? The lives of countless people and healthcare providers have been jeopardized due to our negligent behavior. Amid a global pandemic, it is expected out of everyone to exercise caution, but the opposite is being observed. People are fearless and above all on edge. And this unease has contributed to the crowds that we see in the marketplaces day after day. Nobody bothered about the lives that are lost unless it is someone they care for. When will we realize that our nonchalant attitude does not only risk everybody around us, but also the people we care for? India is a mosaic of cultures, and its people should unite to fight and cast out this virus and the chaos caused by it. If this does not happen, then the country will fall into disarray and many more lives will be lost. I would just like to conclude by saying that there are countless things that could be done in a pandemic like this. But the only thing that we are doing is going out. It is not just the country of the healthcare providers or the lawmakers. We all are equally responsible for it because India is our country and it is our duty to take care of it. Thank you.
Coming up next, we have Mitchell Grover of 12th Non-Medical representing Mary Ward House.
There is no school equal to a decent home, and no teacher equal to a virtuous parent. A very pleasant afternoon to our respected principal, honorable jury members, members of staff, and my dear friends. Today, I, Mitchell Grover of Class 12 Non-Medical, representing Mary Ward House, is here to put forth my views on the topic. Homeschooling better than traditional schooling. Remember that over-familiar sound of a school bell, that constant peer pressure, and the unforgiving terror of examinations. I think everyone has experienced it. Many would agree that this is a time one should go through in the lifetime because it teaches children to adapt to different life conditions and get a taste of the real world. But what if I tell you that there is an alternative, one that addresses the flaws of school system and approaches the holistic philosophy angle? Yes, you got that right. I am talking about homeschooling that is growing popular by each passing day and has a growth rate of 7 to 15% per year. Currently, there are about 2 million children learning at home. The concept of homeschooling, though an age-old process, has regained popularity in the recent times, mostly in the countries like UK, US, Australia, Japan, Russia, and including India. In this situation of pandemic too, where the traditional schooling was not in power, homeschooling and online-based learning was the only alternative. Although both homeschooling and traditional schooling have their pros and cons, but still, the advantages of homeschooling outweigh those of traditional learning.